So definitely like sorry for just like springing this on you.
No
I really
problem.
thought like, because this whole time like this we've gone back and forth, right? And I thought
Yeah.
I thought we were trying to set it up.
I thought you were like want to come over and hang out and like just chill. I was like, okay, cool, that's fine.
Oh man.
No, which is
I wish.
this is great. It's like a good surprise.
I wish. Yeah, this is my like definition of chill.
Okay, yeah, good idea. Yeah, I like it.
So to just like open up, what did you have for breakfast?
Today, I don't think I had coffee.
And most people just do.
Actually a protein shake.
Protein
Coffee and a
shake?
protein
Good
shake.
for you.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
It's filling.
Yeah, and I didn't have anything the rest of the day. I've just been drinking water and eating candy.
Okay. Before you said candy, I was like, on purpose, like intermittent fasting, or just
No, like
you're not hungry?
I was hungry, but I was like driving around
Okay.
all day, all morning.
Right.
So I didn't have a chance to eat, and I like everyone's talking about this intermittent fasting, so I don't do it intentionally. But sometimes I'll just go like a 10-hour stretch without eating, just because
It just goes by?
I get carried away with stuff.
Right.
So it's kind of like unintentional intermittent fasting.
Right.
It's not like someone's. I didn't say it's 6 o'clock. I'm gonna.
No,
fast.
you just don't even notice.
Right. So yes, that's a good question. Yeah. Other days, like I could throw down a really nice breakfast.
Okay.
Like if I were to have a nice breakfast, I would do like 3 or 4 slices of like butcher thick cut bacon.
I love that.
Cooked rare.
$20 a pound. Rare?
Yeah, not rare raw, but like medium on the rare side, not burnt. So like 4 slices of bacon, 3 or 4 eggs, an English muffin, an avocado, cup of coffee.
Right.
That would be like an ideal breakfast. Like if I had breakfast, that's what I
And how
ate.
often is this? A weekend?
Once a week.
Yeah, that's good.
Once a week I'll have a good one. Other days, just like sometimes coffee, sometimes just like an orange.
Yeah.
Yeah,
do you, man?
it really depends. Sometimes
Whatever-
I'll just have an avocado.
whatever
with
gets
salt
you
and
going.
pepper on it.
Do you make your bed?
Most days. I'd say
days?
most days, yeah. Unless I'm like in a rush to leave.
Yeah.
But most
No,
days,
you're kind of starting the day on a good note. Right?
It's a
You're
good
just, like,
thing, yeah.
setting the tone for the day.
I didn't for years.
No, I still don't, and I
For
should.
years.
It's something I want to. It's
So-
something easy, and that like
I feel better when I do.
okay.
I can't take credit that I do it every day because I don't. But
Yeah.
when I do it, I absolutely feel like, okay, now we can
It's
begin.
something that you can own, like something that you could, like something easy and something that would set the momentum going for the day. I guess. So if you were to introduce yourself to someone you just met and they were, you're trying to explain what you do, you can't really see it in the shots right here, but if you were to look around, like this is all your stuff, all these art, like paintings,
Some
are
paintings.
you. But is there another word to define or like to explain what you do?
I don't know. That's a good question. Usually, if I introduce myself, like I don't bring up what I do.
Oh, okay. Good for you.
Unless they know that I, paint or something.
Okay.
Like, oh no, we paint.
Okay.
But I don't know how I'd introduce myself. That's
Not-
a great
not all-
question.
not all
hi, my
business.
name's
I like
Mike.
that.
Hi, my name. I don't know what I would really.
Yeah, and then
I guess
and
depends
then
in the moment.
You go into
I don't
like,
know.
I'm Mike. This is what I'm about, and then they're like, well, Mike, what do you do?
Sometimes
What
I
do you
paint
do for work?
for work. That's a great question.
Right, right.
Depends what day of the week it is. Most times I find myself in some type of paint-related project.
Okay.
Whether that's like a custom painting or a mural or painting a wall.
Okay.
It's usually involving paint in some
And
capacity.
is this like a direct? So sometimes it's for a business, and sometimes it's for like a personal someone like a
Some
friend or a customer.
Yep.
Okay.
So it really depends, but usually lately it's been for really close friends and / customers.
Okay.
Close friends that are supporting me.
And
I don't
how-
like to call them customers.
Yeah. No, that's a good way to
Sometimes
look
it
at
is, but most time it's a friend that's like putting wind in the sails.
No,
That's how I see it.
You're right. It's kind of similar. This might be a little off topic, but like in medicine, when doctors start to look at their patients as diseases and diagnoses instead of by name and by person, right?
Interesting.
You start to lose like that humanity to it.
The person,
So I
yeah.
love how you said that, and that you're still trying to. You're very humble and very grounded about it, and
Oh,
it's for
thanks.
you. It's not all business, right?
Right.
You're doing it for the love.
Yeah, exactly.
You're doing it for the love, and if it works out, it works out, and if it doesn't work out, it seems like because you're driving Lyft right now, you're making it work.
Exactly.
You're
You have
making
to
it
do
work.
what you can.
So how long have you been painting for then?
For fun or for professional?
Both.
I'd say for fun, like my whole life. Like
Your
as
whole
long as
life,
I can remember, it's always been enjoyable.
Yeah.
So literally my whole life, which is, a long time.
And
then professionally, I've been
yeah.
probably making at least a little bit of money doing it for like about 10 years.
That's a long time.
About 10 years now.
And
yeah.
earlier, you said
maybe
that
even a little longer than that.
you even said that you still don't feel like you made it. Even
no
after 10
way.
years.
Not even close. Well, look where we're sitting.
Yo, I love where we're sitting. Stop it.
We're not
Stop
sitting.
It. This is what it's all about.
Yeah. Once we're on like the 50th floor, like overlooking Central Park, then I'll say we made it.
Is that so? That's the end goal for you?
No, not really. But
I mean,
if I ever wound up there, then it would definitely be like
so.
Success.
Even after you've, but like, I don't see you as the materialistic type. I see
I'm not.
Even after you've made it, this is kind of the type of place you'd be in anyway.
That's true. Yeah, if I ever made it, yeah, of course I would never. Yeah, I'll hopefully be able to rent this place, forever.
Yeah,
it's a cool place.
Yeah.
We're in like a really intricate part of like Chicago, like in I don't know
what neighborhood.
This is Wicker Park.
Wicker Park. Okay.
We're in, as you can see. I don't know if you can see
no,
the
you
shot.
Can't see it.
That's
so
just
it's
how the
like
shot.
well,
We can show a
B
B-roll.
Yeah.
Boom, shot. Wicker Park. So that's where we are. It's like
right.
on the edge of like the west side of Chicago,
sure,
the northwest side
sure.
of the city, I guess. And yeah, it's cool. I
Yeah.
like it. It's a cool place. So I can't remember what we were talking about right before that.
No, we were talking about how you got started, and you said you've been painting for fun ever since you could remember.
Yeah.
So
it's
was there
probably 10 years? Yeah, maybe.
Was there a certain someone that got you into it? Like what?
Not really. I think how did I start doing it? I started painting because in school, art was my favorite subject.
Okay.
That's what it was. Like every time we had art, I was always excited about that, and I did well.
Yeah.
In art, like,
was there
all the other subjects was always a struggle.
Okay.
All of them.
And that's definitely a good way to tell if something's for you or not.
Yeah, it was the only thing I had going for me. It was like not only did I enjoy it, but I was like, I was never the best in my class, but I was always, you could tell that.
Yeah.
I was like in the upper half
of
the class.
You didn't feel like someone had to drag you out of bed to do it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it was always something that I liked to, and I still like to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
So over the years, like it kind of became like a hobby, and then maybe a hobby that I was able to like make a couple bucks on.
Sure.
And then eventually it was like part-time job.
Yeah.
Then for several years it's been like pretty much still my full-time job.
Painting.
Yeah.
Painting's your full-time job.
Has been for like 5 years.
That's amazing.
4 years, yeah.
Okay, we'll get into that.
Which is why I don't have any money.
A little later.
It's like,
well,
or at least why I have, under $1 million.
Okay.
That's the only reason why. So I still do it, and I'll always be able to paint.
What did you have for high school?
What did I have?
What did you do after? Did you go to art school or did you go to college?
I went to Moraine Valley.
You went to
After high school, I went to Moraine Valley. Community college.
And what did you study in Moraine Valley?
I just got my basic like gen ed degree, which is like a bachelor's degree of fine arts. I think it's called. So I took a couple art classes there, and that's what I really kind of.
So from those classes, you gained some skills to accelerate and really exponentially grow your.
Yeah, I mean, I always took art classes in school, like in high school and everything. Like it was clear that those are my classes that I knew I was going to get an A.
Okay, but you're not doing it for the grade. You're doing it because you want to expand your scope and your skills and right.
Exactly,
okay.
But all my other classes, like
it was a struggle.
Yeah, and I didn't care either.
You didn't care.
And it was like with math. Like remember learning math?
Yeah. Well,
in high school.
Yeah.
Like geometry.
I have a minor in math, and I'm not.
I never even took calculus because I wasn't smart enough. But I took geometry and algebra.
Yeah.
And like it was so. I couldn't do it.
Okay.
Like it was so challenging for me.
Okay.
And I just felt like and the thing is, at the time, I knew I was never going to need any of that algebra stuff.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'm never going to use this in my entire life. And to this day, I haven't needed it.
Right.
Not that other people don't.
Right.
I'm sure there's other people who use it.
Sure.
I'm saying with me personally, like learning it in high school, I just knew I'm like, I'm never going to fucking use this.
Sure.
Like that's what I knew it. Still haven't. But whatever. So high school,
Yeah.
did art classes, and then I went to Moraine Valley because I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And then also it was clear there that I loved taking the art classes there and had some really great teachers as art teachers at Moraine Valley.
Okay.
That kind of encouraged me to go in that direction. So then after Moraine Valley, I went to Columbia.
Oh, okay.
And then continued to study. I went more of like a television route. So I actually have my degree in Columbia is actually like I think I don't even know what it's technically called, like producing for television.
Sure.
Like writing and producing for television.
Sure.
Is like what technically the degree is in. So that's basically what I'm.
And are you using any of that right now?
Kind of.
Like you could, were you into writing scripts or actually?
Thought I was.
Oh, okay.
Thought I was. Like when I enrolled there, like that's what I.
Sure.
Like I didn't want to go into art as a pinpoint degree, because I took the art classes and I knew I was always gonna like have that.
Yeah.
But I never really necessarily knew like, oh, I'm gonna be a professional artist. Like that wasn't.
Because you wanted to keep options open, or you didn't think it was lucrative enough for you?
I just didn't think it was like realistic.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Okay.
I'm like, this is something I'm always gonna pursue on the side.
Sure.
I'm like, no matter what I do for a job, I knew I was always gonna have that on the side and then maybe work that in.
Sure.
As much as I could.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, television could be something I'm still fascinated in, still love it, still have the passion for it. But I thought I was going to be able to write scripts, and then I figured out that I can't write.
Well, it's something you got to work at.
So
were you always a good painter?
No, not really. But like writing, I'm so terrible at.
Right.
And I was so frustrated. So like going through the schooling there, enjoyed it. I learned a lot. Was really good at certain things. Was not good at other things.
So how much time did you put into it before you gave up?
I don't know. Probably not enough.
Right?
I mean, I was only at Columbia for like 2 semesters because I just wanted to graduate. I just wanted to be done with school.
So you took your credits from Moraine, went to Columbia, and then got the bachelor's.
Exactly.
Okay.
And like while I was there was many options, but it was the shortest amount of time to graduate was that degree.
But
an art degree in fine art would have been like another 2 years. So I wanted to have that. Like technically, then I would have been fully educated, but.
Was it? So did you?
I was like, I had to get out of school.
Did you have something in mind that required a bachelor's? Like it sounded like you just wanted a bachelor's no matter what.
At Moraine?
No, you said you took or did you get the bachelor's from Moraine? Or
I think so. Yeah, I think, or that was my associate's degree.
Associates, right?
Yeah,
and then you took those credits and turned it into a bachelor's at Columbia. But it sounds like you really wanted that bachelor's. Did you need that bachelor's for something, or
I don't know. Like at the time, the time, right? I needed to graduate.
We're not really thinking about it
because like a Moraine Valley degree was like it wasn't specific enough.
Okay,
it was just like a general degree.
Okay,
so I felt like I had to.
No worries,
it was what I thought at the time. Like looking back, of course, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
You know, like we all learned hindsight's
2020. Yeah.
At the time, that was like, okay, this makes sense.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And I went through it, and I was like, actually. I don't regret it totally. Okay. Like if I had to go back in time, I probably would have taken a different path.
Okay.
Because this path has got me nowhere. So
I wouldn't say that. Yeah. I wouldn't say nowhere.
But like at the time, it was like relatively reasonable to do that. And at the time, like I wound up graduating with straight A's.
Wow.
So my discipline. So I think it helped like,
foster
mature me as like a person, because like going through high school. I was C student.
Yeah.
D, C, B, and my only A would be art.
Right.
That's all.
Wow.
Some semesters was straight C's, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
I still don't care.
Yeah.
That happened, but I was happy that through Moraine Valley, I was B student with A's, and then my last semester there was straight A's, and then at Columbia I was straight A's the whole time. And I was like 4.0.
So
I'm proud of that.
Yeah, you're a supporter for community college, especially if you don't know what you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of investing fully into college as an undecided major.
Especially Moraine Valley.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's such a great school.
Okay.
Like most of my teachers there were like great.
Awesome.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I can't recommend that enough. Stag, not so much. I had a couple great teachers, but most of them were kind of like, that's how schooling has been my whole life. Like a couple good ones. Okay. But overall, it was kind of like Moraine Valley was where I really kind of, I think, obviously, matured and learned a lot.
Sure.
I really did learn a lot.
I feel like I did the same in college, too. It was
not
as much so for the actual degree, but more so a coming of age kind of thing.
Totally.
Right? So
Where'd you go to school again?
UIC.
UIC, that's
Yeah,
right.
UIC.
Yeah.
But it could have been anywhere, you know, and it really humbles you if you're like floating up here. Like, let's say you're a straight A student in high school, college isn't the same, right? So it might bring you down. Or the opposite, if you're like floating through, maybe in college you'll find what you like to do, and it hopefully elevates.
Is that what happened with you, or did you always know you're going into
medicine? No, so here's the thing. So the path was always medicine, and I floated through both high school and college. I got by. I graduated. I'm currently not using my degree. But like,
well, you work at UIC. Like
I do work at UIC, but I have a paramedic background, and that's pretty much all I need to do what I'm doing right now. Technically, like, you know, you don't need a biology degree to teach an EMT class.
That's what you have, is biology degree?
That's all. That and a math minor.
So you
because
did
the
do
intent
math.
was medical school or PA school or whatever, but I enjoyed emergency medicine so much that this is where I took it.
Gotcha.
And both Marty and myself, and it's a game of who you know, right? So Marty had an opportunity because the demand for the class was growing from, say, his first class was 17, and now we're upwards of 80. So last summer we had 113 students. This semester right now we have close to 80. So there is a demand, and both he and I kind of head the class right now. And we both didn't expect this to happen. We both kind of fell into the teaching role, and we've come to like it. But so let's say you put, you know, a little more time into writing scripts, maybe you might find out that you're developing the skill, and you might come back into it. Maybe
true.
Just don't close that door.
I have been thinking about it.
Just don't close
Honestly,
that door.
I have been thinking about it.
Maybe when you feel a lull in painting, just go dabble back in something else, right?
I'm doing like a lot of that mentally.
Sure.
Like a lot of like thought-wise, like
Sure.
not physically like writing it yet, but like brainstorming ideas.
Even if you scribble it down on a pad and no one ever sees it, you fucking make it concrete. And that's
I have ideas.
That's the
Trust me.
biggest that's the biggest hurdle, is actually getting it out into the real world.
Yeah.
Even if no one sees it, it's out there.
Right.
Right? And
That's a good point.
and like we talked earlier, the hardest thing to do is to actually do the thing, I guess.
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
you can think about it all day long.
Yep.
Make excuses all day long, but you have to get over the fear of failing or not being good enough, and you won't know until you try. So be bold. I mean, just put yourself out there.
Wise
right?
words.
And if put it out there, and you don't have to show it to anyone, right? And
That's a good point.
But if you want to, and if they like give you negative feedback, just roll with it. It's all good.
Yeah.
Right? And not everyone is into your flavor. Not everyone will be a fan. That's okay though. You know, it's all good.
That's great.
Because your happiness
great.
is not dependent on someone else's critique of you.
Yeah, I love that.
Right? And
That's
has that
very
ever
true.
happened with your work? Like, has anyone, I doubt it, maybe to your face, but like, has anyone said like, you know, that Jerry Garcia isn't my type of thing. Like,
Yeah,
not type of.
I think all the time. I think as soon as everyone comes over here for painting, I feel like as soon as they walk out, they're like, "Wow, I can't believe we bought this fucking piece of shit." Then they get in the car, they're like, "How much we spent on that fucking thing?" That's what I assume everyone says.
Okay. And then what comes? Does anything happen after? Like they give you a call, or you go to their place of business or home, and you see it hung up, or you see how ecstatic they are to share it with their family and friends.
It makes me feel so good.
And that
it really does.
So I got to witness Mike reveal. We can show it later. His David Bowie.
Throwing the B-roll.
David
right
Bowie,
now.
yeah.
Like, ready, roll.
David Bowie, and
that was a cool
You
thing.
put up the footage of Marty's mom revealing Tom Petty.
That was great.
And that, like, when she was like the O face, or like the breakdown, and like
I still like
that's
tear up when I
awesome.
watch that.
And is this what you're living for, like working for? Like this is that
sure,
moment.
That's the moment. Yeah, totally.
And
absolutely.
And that is better than any amount of money.
You got it. I couldn't have said it any better.
Right. So, and it's so refreshing to see someone do it for the love and for the fulfillment, because there's so many out there that are in the rat race and they're so unfulfilled, and they dread going into work, and they look forward to the Fridays and the going out on the weekends. Whereas you can do whatever you want. You can make Monday your weekend because you worked your ass off on Saturday, Sunday.
And I do. But I still regret things like other people might regret going to their job. Like I'll regret stuff too. Like, God, I don't want to fucking go to this place right now or that place right now. So I still have all those thoughts. Like I'm not
right. It's
like,
not. Yeah. It's
I'm
not like
above
we're
that at all.
We're not. We're not above it. But
it is. It has been really fun. Like moments like that that's why all this like work, like people who follow me on Instagram, like to get to the point where I'm at, has taken so much time, so much work,
Right.
so much effort. So when you have like a moment like that with Marty or with Tammy, it's like that makes all these like thousands of hours, you know, worth it to have like something like that happen, and then how much they appreciate it. Like it's hard to put words to.
Yeah.
Like, it really, like, you know, humbles me, and like, it makes me feel really grateful to have like great friends,
Right.
like the Walshes.
Right.
Love the Walshes.
Love the
Love
Walshes.
Tammy, Marty,
you and I both.
all of them. There, it's so
Family.
great. Like, I wouldn't be able to do this, the MKS art and all these paintings, if it wasn't for great friends.
That support you.
Like them, like
Yeah.
like Walshes, and like Marty and Tammy and Mr. Walsh, and
Right.
all those, like, and so many more friends, like Stevie, Ryan, like,
And you've
everybody.
probably made-
I feel like I'm a
you've
Camden
probably-
Words, like
you've probably-
everybody, all my friends, like everyone who follows me.
Right. You've probably made friends through this art.
Yeah, tons of friends.
So
tons of
you
friends.
said this has been full time for you for about 5 years, meaning you've been making, you know, a decent income from.
I don't know about decent.
Well, everyone's definition is
decent.
a little different. from
Decently
decent.
bad.
You're getting
decently
by.
terrible.
You're
Decently.
you're getting by.
Yeah.
You're surviving.
Decent. Thanks
right?
to the generosity of
Not only
everybody.
surviving, you're thriving. All right.
Thriving, yeah.
What was the moment you realized that this could be something, that this could be a full-time gig? Like, was it someone that bought it, or was it a piece of work, like after you finish, like, I got something here? Like, what was it?
I don't know. I don't think there's ever been really like a moment like that.
Okay.
It just depends on, like, if I'm able to do this for a job, this is how I like to spend my day.
From the get-go, you didn't care about the outcome, and you're just like, I have to make this work no matter what.
Somehow, yeah, kind of. A little bit like that.
The moment you realized you wanted to do this for work, you said you were going to do whatever it takes to make this work.
I just want to do everything else less. You know, like, this is decent. You know,
I like the way you put that.
I'm like, everything else.
like-
I've had tons of other jobs. Like, I used to work at Glen Eagles Golf Course.
Yeah.
I used to deliver. My first job was installing cabinets,
Okay.
delivering, and sometimes installing cabinets, which was a hard job.
Sure.
Definitely learned a lot, but it was like physically demanding.
Yeah.
Paid, I think, like $8 an hour, like
Okay.
$8 or $9 an hour.
High school days, huh?
And like carrying, you know,
Manual labor.
cabinets up flights of stairs.
Yeah.
Like, that was a job.
Right.
Like, that was a job.
Glenn, so what did you do at the golf club?
Golf cart attendant.
Yo,
Which was a great job.
I was a bag
and
boy.
I would do that again. Oh, okay. You see what I made
I
tips.
bounced around Inverness. And
What's
tips
that?
were, it's by Palatine, Schaumburg.
Is that a club?
It is a club. So Inverness Golf Club.
Wow, so that's a nice place.
I bounced around the club from busboy, or not busboy, bag boy to locker room attendant, which that was probably my favorite gig. I ended up shining shoes in the locker room.
Whoa.
And talk about cathartic experience.
Sure.
I want you to imagine 3 to 4 wheels that buff out different colors, and they're all hooked up
The
to
red, the
a
black.
wheel that you turn on electronically, and they all spin. Yeah, so like brown, cordovan, white, black, and whatever shoe you had, after you cleaned it, polished it, and you're just like getting into a rhythm and in the zone, and like you're not thinking about anything, no money, no time, and you're just like effortlessly shining this shoe. And it's like a cathartic release of like,
Interesting.
This is awesome. And like you might have that same feeling like while you're in the zone painting.
Yeah. On a good day.
On a good day.
On a good
right?
day.
No, and we all have those struggles of like, oh, wow, I'm slugging through this. Like that's
how it usually is.
okay. I'm glad. No,
Yeah.
I'm sure and there's a lot of people that relate to that.
And
hopefully
like people can relate to
It
that.
is rare for someone to be firing on 10
That's
all the time.
Rarely the
Okay,
case.
good.
That's
Just
what I
gotta make that
hope.
clear.
That's what I hope. That's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm trying to get to that point.
Yeah.
To, you know, where it's smooth and everything.
Right.
You're kind of in the zone, but it's a lot of like preparation. You know.
Yeah.
To get there.
So speaking of like preparation, I mean, are we talking about like loosen up with alcohol or music or a specific room that you got to be in? Like what really sets the mood to like flow, like for art to flow through you?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Right? And if
I
you
don't even
knew,
know
if
how
we
to
all
answer
knew,
that.
it's
Yeah.
like,
I don't know.
But it'd be situational for different people.
It's
different, right?
exactly.
So for you, what could it be?
For
Like
me-
what is it usually?
What is it usually? To like, if I'm gonna work on a painting.
Yeah. And let's say you're currently uninspired and you're like, I got to pump something out. And I hate that word because like, well, we talked about this for the Bowie. is that maybe you were busy or maybe you were just procrastinating, and that when the deadline was approaching, you're like, I really need to work this. And I work best under pressure.
Victor, you are so smart. Like, you don't realize how like you could read my mind right now. No, that's not what it was at all.
Okay.
But kind of. I am
Okay.
a procrastinator, but it's not. I'm not procrastinating just to procrastinate. It's
Okay.
usually like I'm involved with
other
something
things.
else that should have been done by now. So I'm just like perpetually behind schedule on everything.
Okay.
So I'm trying to finish the thing that should have been done 2 weeks ago today, so I can get it done. So
Now,
that's
if you could
kinda-
have it any other way, would you try to nip it in the butt?
Here's what I wish I could do, and I'm trying to work on this. I'm trying to figure out a way to freeze time. So if I could stop time, like right now it's what, like 5:30. If I
Yeah.
could freeze time at 5:30 for like a week, and then I can run around and get all my shit done, and then say, okay, back on.
Right,
That
right.
would be ideal.
that much shit to do?
Oh, at least a week. I mean, a week would be pushing it. Like, ideally, it'd be like a month. Like, I'm going to freeze the world for a month.
Right,
and let
right,
me
right.
run around through all
Right,
these stores,
right.
collect all my shit, finish everything out.
So,
And then unfreeze it in a month. And then I think I'll be caught up.
no shit.
And that's how I felt. I felt like that for a while now.
Okay.
So that's just,
Now, is it because you have a hard time saying no?
Yeah. That's a word I'm unable to say.
You don't. That's not in your
I'm
vocabulary.
unable to say that. And it's not that I'm not. It's not because I'm like weak. Like I'm not. It's not. It's just like you don't want to say no. A lot of the times, or if like someone goes the way I see it, it's not like, oh, I can't say no because I'm just let everyone walk over me. It's not
Sure,
that.
sure.
It's
Okay.
like someone goes out of their way to contact me to have me make a painting.
It's
Who
a
am I?
gratitude thing.
Who am I to say no to that?
Yeah.
No matter who it is, and especially when it's like for Marty's birthday. Oh, like that's an honor to be asked that for, Tammy's, Mother's Day gift.
So
that was an honor to do that.
all
for
this-
my other friend's wedding gift.
Yeah.
That was an honor to do that. It's like, where do you draw the line? Who do you say no to? Like everyone's.
So when you speak,
So that's
when
what-
you say that you wish you could freeze time for a week,
Yeah.
all the stuff that you have to do, these are all paintings.
just like tons of stuff, like paintings
I thought
and like running
these
errands.
are
and,
like yo Skrobin, we haven't hung out in a while. You're like, yeah, I'll pencil you in.
yeah,
You
that
get-
too, that too, just like tons of stuff, like
Okay.
paintings and
No, I have a hard time saying no. It's something
Yeah,
that
it's tough.
It's a work in progress of being able to prioritize what really matters to you.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that has helped me recently is if you don't feel 110% about it, or like a fuck yes, I'll do it. And if you don't feel that way, then it should be an easy no.
That's why you got to be answering my calls. you should be working my phone. Then it's always like, oh my god, it's his, it's your sister's cousin's aunt's dogs
That far removed,
neighbors. 53rd birthday. Shit. No, I'm joking. It's not.
I know.
It's not that at all. It's just and it's not that it's that many. It's like just a lot of work and effort goes into each one.
Yeah.
So it's not like something you can just hit print and then it shows up. It's like each one, each piece that I make, takes a lot of time.
It does.
Takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. So it's
And-
not like
yeah.
making frozen pizza. It's more like, writing a novel.
Yeah.
That's how it feels to me.
Well, also
That's how it feels.
you're quite the perfectionist, so you're never quite satisfied with.
I'm not really, it's not that I'm a perfectionist because I know that perfection is not attainable.
Okay.
So I wouldn't, people might see me as a perfectionist. I don't think of myself as that.
Oh, okay.
I just think of myself as having like a high standard. Like I have high expectations for what I want it to be. And it's just tough to hit those. So
Sure.
it's not perfect. It's in the realm of perfect.
Yeah.
It's as close to perfect as I can get.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part. And I think other people hopefully would relate to that in their line of work, or maybe just in whatever they do, is like they want it to be perfect. And like, where do you draw the line of saying like, that's good enough?
Yeah.
That's what I'm always kind of balancing is like, could I just make it a little bit better, or is that good enough?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a tennis game in my mind of like, well, I could work on it for another hour and make it look a little better, or I could just say it's good enough.
That's kind of.
And
what
then
a
I'll work on it for another
perfectionist-
hour.
That's kind of what a perfectionist
And then at the
is
end of
like.
that hour, I'm like, wow, it does look a lot better now.
Okay.
so
Okay, so you do eventually come to the realization that this is as good as it's gonna get, kind of thing. Okay.
And that happened. Since each piece is so different, each piece has its own moment where it's kind of like gets to the point where it's like the like if you look at a graph kind of thing, and it's like there's like a eventual point where it's not getting better anymore. Like it's done, and that's the hard part. It's like getting to that point. And some pieces get there quicker than others, and you know that's kind of like it's always different. Yeah. And it's that's a tough thing to predict. Yeah. So like a lot of times if people will like ask me to do a painting, they're like, when is it going to be done? And it's like that's the hardest question to answer. Okay. Like and because there's like an abstract element and a linear element, and they're thinking of like when will this be done so I can buy it. Not everyone I'm like, well, I'll tell myself 2 weeks, but at the end of that 2 weeks, it might just look like a half baked. It's just not done. Right. Like it looks incomplete. And
so what's the tightest deadline you've been given? Like when they need a turnaround time, you know?
I've had a lot of ones inside a week, but that's fine. Yeah. I feel bad. Like most of the ones I've done this year were all behind schedule, and most of them were late, and I feel terrible about that. But so this year I can't really like.
At the end of the day, were they still satisfied with it?
Yeah, I hope so. I think so. Okay. So that's where I'm kind of like. Always like, well, do I get it done on the day, or if I can just take a little extra time, make sure it's perfect? Yeah, that's what I would prefer to do. Yeah, and a lot of my friends have been like super patient with me, which I appreciate. Okay, because
it's also easier that they're your friends. Now, what if there's like someone you didn't know, like a professional?
That's tough.
Yeah. That's tough. Yeah, eventually, one day, your reputation, I mean, it still does right now.
I'm sure it's been damaged. I'm sure it's been damaged. It's probably been like, oh, God, don't call that fucking guy ever again. I'm sure. But it's only because I care so much. Honestly, that's it. Like, even though and I explained to him, like, it's only because I care so much that I want this to look perfect. I don't want it to look half-assed. Right. And it's so difficult for me. Like, people think I'm like some savant. I'm really not. It's just, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort.
Right, and hopefully at the end of the day, they respect that.
Hopefully, yeah. And I think they do. Hopefully they understand that it's like, I'm not just like sitting around eating pizza, watching Seinfeld, like, oh, I got to work on this fucking painting again today. It's like, it's usually me like working my finger to the bone, feverishly painting, trying to get it done, you know, for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Like that's actually in reality. Like, you ever seen those memes where it's like, what my mom thinks I'm doing, what my girlfriend thinks I'm doing, what my friend thinks I'm doing, what I'm actually doing. Yes. It's kind of like that. Okay. And then it's like, whatever they think I'm doing is not true. And what I'm actually doing is like, I'm like, you're feverishly like breaking pencils, snapping pencils, like throwing shit, like right. Passionate. Right. Passionately working. Okay. That's usually what I'm doing.
Yeah. So you mentioned you do a mix of direct to consumer and as well as for some businesses. I think you mentioned a wine shop. You've done a mural for Southwest.
Yeah, right. At Midway Airport.
For
Southwest. Yeah, that's a cool huge, one. Man. Let's flash that on the screen right now. if you can. If you're able to. Yeah. I'm making more work for you. So I did a couple of murals at Midway Airport where the Southwest call center is. Okay. So if you miss your flight for Southwest and you have to call the call center, the lady answering the phone will be looking at my mural.
That's amazing.
Basically, because that's where it is.
What if you did one for the actual airport?
I know, that's what I'm hoping to do next. That's what I'm hoping to do next.
Now, how did you get that first gig at Southwest?
That was my friend Ryan. Hey, my best friend Ryan.
Shout out to Ryan.
Ryan Houston. Yeah, you know, I got really lucky that they were looking to have some painting done, and they asked me, and it was a cool project. So thank you, Ryan.
Right. So if we were to go back to that question of what would you attribute your growth or that moment where you're like, I could do this for a living, would you attribute it to the people that have put you in touch with those that, you know, put you up for the work?
I don't know.
Is it a game of who you need to know?
That's important. Totally important. And it's like networking. Like, even though I'm like a painter, like I probably spend just as much like time like networking, trying to meet people, communicating with people,
and all that is a waste if you don't have good work yourself.
Yeah, if you have nothing, if your
paintings are shit, no matter how much you network, that you're not gonna get anywhere.
Yeah, right. or even if your paintings are good, if you don't network, then no one's going to see them.
That's true.
So it's kind of like a balancing.
That's
like,
true.
You got to have quality work, whether it's painting or whether you make shoes or whatever you make or whatever you do. Like, you have quality work, but then you also have to network and get the work out there to groups of people or friends and word of mouth.
Yeah.
And most of my work is off of word of mouth.
Okay, word of mouth.
Yeah.
Like how far removed? Like
I've had
4 people removed from like who you really know?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, which is really cool. And
That's
it's
awesome.
it's like, hi, you don't know me, but I'm the girlfriend of some friend who who's friends of the kid who got the painting. Which is like, I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool.
Right.
I just feel like that's amazing. And then I meet her or him or whoever it is. Now I'm their friend. So it's kind of like it was 3 people removed, but now I'm their friend. So it's not removed anymore. And it's kind of crazy how small of a town.
6 degrees of access. Yeah.
Chicago's a small town.
Would you do it in any other town?
Yeah, I would love to.
Oh,
a warmer
New York?
town.
Oh, warmer town.
Yeah,
okay.
right now as we're filming this, it's like 2 degrees outside. So any town that's
15,
warmer.
15, Mike?
15.
So honestly, I took the dogs to the dog park.
Okay.
Because it felt like it was 30 degrees outside because the last couple days it was 0 or negative.
Yeah.
And like it felt like it was spring today.
It did feel, it didn't feel as bad
even though
as
it's
past
15.
couple
Yeah,
days.
It's literally 15 right now.
So thanks, Chicago.
Yeah.
So much for global warming, I guess. That's another podcast, though.
Yeah, that's another episode.
So we'll get into the flat Earth theory.
Oh, jeez. What?
We're getting off track.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, it's all good. It's
Sorry.
all good. I'm very tangential.
Yeah. No.
What percentage, if you could put a number to it, is referrals to complete random strangers that have seen your work, whether on a mural or on Instagram? What percentage, like, what's the ratio of people that know you or maybe removed, like a couple people removed from that, and then people that have just simply seen your work without knowing anyone you know or you and have contacted you?
From like Instagram?
Anywhere. So let's say they saw your mural at Southwest or outside on the streets, and maybe they contracted you for a wine shop. So like what percentage is it?
Like half and half, probably.
It's half and half. I would have guessed more. Okay.
It varies. Like some weeks will be only exclusively paintings for referrals, for friends of friends, stuff like that. And then it might be, so I think I haven't really done the math, but I think it balances out.
That's awesome.
And there'll be quite a few of like a random email, a random phone call, random Instagram message, direct message.
Yeah.
If you're ever in Wicker Park on Milwaukee, there's a furniture store, Lubinsky Furniture. Great furniture store.
Okay.
Like great deals, great quality. The rug that we're sitting on
This sounds
is
like
a Lubinsky
like
furniture.
a shameless plug,
This
Mike.
chair is a Lubinsky furniture chair, which is why it's so comfortable and it's classic. So they have a bunch of my art up there, which they've had on display for like 5 years.
Oh, amazing.
And they sell it. So actually, I've met a lot of really cool people from there. From there, people will walk in seeing the art.
Okay.
They have no idea who I am.
Okay.
And that's happened too, which is really.
Where else is your art hanging up?
Chicago's Doghouse in Lincoln Park.
Okay.
That's on Fullerton and Lincoln Avenue, roughly. Like there's a McDonald's there, but it's just right by there. So it's on Fullerton. Chicago's Doghouse.
Okay.
In Lincoln Park. They have alligator hot dogs. They have hot dogs made out of rabbit.
Sounds like hot dogs.
They have kind of, but it's similar. Yeah, I would say it's different because it's more like gourmet. Hot dog. I don't know. But hot dogs doesn't even exist anymore, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Like isn't a
No,
I've actually never ate at hot dogs.
There's like a second hot dogs. It's not with Doug.
There's another one.
The people that I think used to cook with him in Andersonville.
Oh, okay. I'd imagine. Like, why would they not have it anymore?
Uptown/Andersonville.
Uptown. Okay.
But you can find Doug at Wrigley. So
and they got duck. They have duck dogs.
Duck fat fries. Yeah.
They don't have them anymore. But my favorite hot dog was the shrimp dog. It was like shrimp. That was like deep fried. Sounds disgusting, but it was phenomenal. If you like seafood, like that was a great seafood hot dog.
Okay.
So Chicago's Doghouse is great, and they have like traditional Chicago style too.
Yeah.
So he's got some paintings hanging up there. He's got a Blues Brothers paintings hanging up there, so it's Chicago style.
Yeah.
Very Chicago there. And Mr. Smokes. It's a smoke shop on Lincoln Avenue, across the street from the Lionhead Pub.
Okay.
In Lincoln Park, so it's really right around the corner from there.
That's a popular spot.
So you could hit both of those in like 10-minute walk.
All right.
Pretty much. And Mr. Smokes has a bunch over there too.
Okay.
And he's really cool.
Now, how do you...
Shout out to Mr. Smoke.
Right? So, like, how do you... Do you know any of these guys? Or, like,
Yeah.
do you... Like, before...
Yeah. Aaron is Ed's cousin.
Oh,
and he owns Chicago's Doghouse.
I was going to say, like, are they putting you up because they love your work, or because they... Well, both because they love your work and they know you, or you didn't know... They didn't know you?
Ed's cousin...
Prior.
Ed is my roommate and friend. And his cousin Aaron, who's also my friend, owns Chicago's Doghouse.
Oh,
so he's displayed my work for 5 years.
Okay.
As long as I've been started.
Now,
ever since I started.
Even if you guys are good buds, is there any like commission contract that you guys have worked out, or not really? Or
not really.
He's just a good bud.
Yeah, like maybe I'll spot him a little bit. He doesn't take anything. Like sometimes I'll spot him, like I'll be like, hey, thanks for doing this, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know, but it's not really like it's very free.
That's great.
You know, it's very what's the word I'm thinking of?
You know, you scratch my back, I scratch your back.
Yeah, it's like barter.
Yeah.
Big on a barter system.
Yeah.
You know, gypsy style.
Sure.
You were all gypsies in the end. At the end of the day.
So, scrolling through your feed, you notice a couple like cool faces on there, right? And I think you did once mention that you got to meet Luol Deng as well as you never met Zac Efron, but you have Zac Efron on your feed if you scroll a little down.
Cool. Shout out to Zach.
Shout out to Zach. Shout out to Luol.
Luol Deng.
Have you met anyone else, or?
I've met some Blackhawk players.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were really cool. I did a painting for Ronald McDonald charity a few years back, and so then when I made the painting, which we could show right now, we brought it because Ronald McDonald had a connection with the Hawks, so we brought it to Johnny's Ice House where they practice.
Wow!
And then we had the whole team sign it as they went back to their cars,
which
was really cool.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool. So I met very briefly. I met like every player, kind of.
Yeah.
Some of them didn't talk, but some of them did. Duncan Keith was really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, they were all cool, but like some of them talked to me, and Crawford talked to me.
Right.
Seabrook was really nice. So they signed the painting. We had the whole team. This was in April of 2013.
Okay.
So it was actually, I can't believe it was actually
time flies.
Yeah, time flies.
6 years ago, yeah.
I remember it was April of 2013 because it was just before the playoffs started.
Nice.
In 2013, like like a week before.
Yeah.
And the whole team signed it.
Yeah.
So that team that signed it went on to win their second Stanley Cup in 2013. That was the year they beat Boston.
Right.
So that was like so crazy because like we were watching them like, oh, I really hope they win because they just signed it. They just signed that painting.
So you said
and they did.
That went to Ronald McDonald or
for Ronald McDonald charity, and a really nice couple bought it. And
now if it was for charity,
really generous.
Like Ronald McDonald bought it off you, or
I donated it.
I
donated like
yeah. So who do you know at Ronald McDonald? Because I know Colleen works for Ronald McDonald.
Really?
So she's not the one that reached out for you to donate a painting?
I don't think so. I'm trying to remember who my contact is over there. I'm drawing a blank. He caught me on a.
But you have a contact.
They're really cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. And they asked if
Ben
you could
Mordridge.
donate.
Ben Mordridge.
Okay.
Pronouncing that wrong. Sorry, Ben. But Ben, and then drawing a blank. There's a few other really nice girls that I've known for years. And I don't remember how we originally got in contact. I think I emailed them out of the blue one day. Like I think I did like a long time
because you
ago.
wanted to donate a painting.
Yeah, oh. I was like, hey, you guys want a painting? It wasn't that one that I made.
Oh,
the one that I made was a specific idea.
Yeah.
Because there was their big black tie event coming up.
Okay.
But I think maybe it started like I emailed them. I was like, hey, you guys have an event coming up? Like. It's like, I have a ton of art.
Yeah.
Do you need a painting for the silent auction?
Yeah.
Help you raise some money. And I think I did donate a couple.
Sure.
And then the large one that I made, I donated like a huge majority of it to the charity. And I just, used a little for like the materials. So that they covered the materials for it. But it went for a lot.
Did you? Good.
It went for a lot.
Very cool.
Yeah. So it was great.
Did you go... So that even if you didn't get that money, that's got to tell you like your work is doing good.
Define good.
if people are bitten, like
Yeah.
if it went for that much
one,
money.
we'll show it right now. I'll have to dig up some footage of it. It had lights in it. It had LED lights in it.
Oh,
So it was
I've never
insane.
seen that. Okay.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'm planning on doing this year is making a few more light up paintings. For a while, I made paintings that lit up with LED lights.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did like a couple skylines where like I drilled tons of tiny holes with a Dremel into the buildings.
Okay.
And then I put LED lights behind it.
I love that.
So you could actually turn on with a remote control.
Now,
they looked great,
bro. So have you ever done put yourself? I think we talked about this before, but like put yourself out into like Wicker Park Fest or any of those summer fests. Have a pop-up stand. I know it costs money. I know it costs money to pop up like that, but
I would have to ask someone who would like to invest.
Maybe share with you
in that because they're really expensive.
Oh, okay.
And the deadlines are usually all about right now. The deadlines for all the street festivals. I've done a couple. They're good. But like it costs about $600 or $700 for the booth, but you have to pay that now. The deadlines is usually in January and February, but when you send the check in, they cash it now. So like you're out the money right now until the event is in July.
For such a thriving artist like you might not be ready to.
I've done it.
Cut that. Okay.
And I did Wicker Park Fest, like one of my first years living here in Wicker Park, and that was great. And I want to do it again. So I haven't done it in a few years, but I want to do it again because it is a great way to meet people. It's networking. And the year I did it, I made like a couple grand. So it was totally worth it money-wise, and I made a bunch of people. That's what kind of kickstarted my Instagram. That was when I first heard about Instagram. My first year doing Wicker Park Fest. That was when Instagram was like brand new.
People would ask you like, "Hey, are you on the gram? Are you on Instagram?"
People said that, and I was like, "What are you talking about?" You know,
Social
I wasn't
media.
even on. I think I just started Twitter, but I wasn't even on Instagram yet. I think it was maybe the summer of 2012. So that was like the first year Instagram existed.
Okay.
And then some guy was like, "You should do Instagram. This is perfect for it. It's all pictures." I was like, "I can handle that."
Yeah.
So I started one, kicked it off, blah, blah, blah. Started going around trying to get my art on display.
Right.
All over town. Got told no tons of times.
That's another thing.
There you go. So this is like a learning thing for people, maybe, you know, how to get on display. Because I went into like probably 50, maybe more, dozens and dozens and dozens of places. Most of them just very politely said, "Get the fuck out of here."
Okay.
or just
very
no.
politely.
Very politely said no. Most people, few of them said no rudely, but like.
No, thanks for sharing that.
But tons of them. And that was kind of like a thing, but very quickly I got a few yeses.
Okay.
Early on. And
For
then so like Lubinsky Furniture.
Yeah.
They welcomed me in with open arms.
And that's someone you didn't know.
Did not know them.
Okay.
And it was you know
a cold approach.
Yeah, exactly. It was because I did Kevin's windows across the street at Pint, which is a bar, a pub. So I was painting his windows for Christmas, and then so it was like word of mouth through that connection.
Okay.
But I just made that from walking by his bar and probably asking him like, "Hey, you want me to paint your windows for Christmas?"
Yeah.
Or for St. Patty's Day.
Yeah.
So I would paint his windows for St. Patty's Day every year. I'll probably do it. Hopefully, I'll maybe do it this year. But usually, it's like if it's warm, a few weeks before that I could paint it, sometimes I'll do it. But lately, the past couple of years, it's been so cold. I'm like, I don't want to be out there unless I have to.
Now,
when it's like so cold.
I've recently, I think I mentioned this also before, but I just noticed that you changed your picture as well as your name.
Yeah,
from MKS to your name, right?
Yeah, I think that
and
I
for
do
a
that.
For a while, you wanted to be anonymous, and I guess some artists are anonymous, but I think especially with my brand too, like I think people enjoy being able to put a face to the work.
Yeah, do you think so?
It personalizes.
That makes sense,
It's
right?
something to connect to. It's someone to connect to.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
So you remember. And Mike, you're a very down to earth, like very enjoyable person to be around. So
thanks, Victor.
So when people are able to like connect with that, in addition to your work, I think it amplifies that.
Thank you for saying that.
Right. So yeah, what was it? What took so long to do that?
That's a great question. I feel like you're a shrink. I feel like you're my. I don't know. I'm just
dealing with some insecurities or something, or
probably.
And that's okay, but you've gotten over it, right? Or
it's not really insecure. I just really don't think about it. To be honest, I really don't.
Okay. You didn't think it mattered.
I don't think it mattered, and I really don't. To be honest, I don't really.
You don't care.
I don't really care that much. But then I'm like, well, people might be interested, and I'm not taking it seriously. So it's kind of like a disrespect to them. So I'll go in waves of like being really interested. Like I gotta make my mark. And then I'll go another week where I'm like, I don't give a fucking shit.
Mike,
I don't
dude,
care. If, like,
social
Instagram,
media, and you probably resonate with this.
waving up and down.
It's draining. You have to play the game if you want to thrive.
Yeah.
And you haven't been
on.
Right.
Yeah, not really. I have no interest in it right now.
Okay, and that's okay.
So
if business is booming otherwise, like, yeah, I guess not, but
I don't know.
But people out there are probably interested in what you have to put out there and say.
Yeah.
You know, and but we never even talked about this, like, and you can't see it in any of the shots, but what type of like, is it landscapes or portraits that primarily pique your interest?
Lately, I did an abstract, which I really enjoyed.
Oh, okay.
Haven't even posted it yet, so maybe by the time this is up, it might be freshly posted.
Sure.
Right about now, because I don't know how long this will take.
Yeah.
But another one that I just finished, it's on my phone, was like a desert scene of a desert landscape with a golf course.
Oh, okay.
And that was brand new, and that was really cool.
Okay.
That was for a friend of mine, Ryan, who was giving it to his friend, who I think lives on the golf course or has a house on the golf course. So the painting we'll show it right now. And that one I just, like, too bad it's not here because I just finished it. That was like my latest. It would have been great, but it's on its way to Tulsa.
Tulsa?
No, not Tulsa.
Oklahoma?
What the fuck am I talking about? Not Tulsa. It's either Arizona. It's Arizona.
Sure.
Name a city in Arizona. It's not Phoenix, but something. It's in Arizona. So it's on its way there right now. So.
Okay. So
I don't know if that answers your question.
It doesn't, and I'm looking around, and there's really, I mean, if I were to put a theme on it, it's hard to. Like, I want to say, like, there's some Chicago theme to it, but there's a heavy music inspiration to it, but there's also some, like, random stuff out here too. So is that, like, man, if someone were to try to label you, and maybe you're anti-labeling, but, like, what are you most known for? Like, portraits, landscapes, athletes, musicians? Like, what are you most known for?
I have no idea.
Or are you just a big, pop culture kind of guy?
I think my interest just is like a pinball.
Oh.
so it's just like, this is cool, that's cool, this is cool, that's cool.
So
I like the I'll show the Bears. Like, I like the Bears, but then they missed the field goal, and it's like, well, I'll care again in September.
I mean, most... correct me if I'm wrong, but like most people would benefit from a very focused, specific niche.
Yeah, I can't focus on one thing.
Okay.
So.
But it's worked out in your favor.
Sometimes. I mean, I like always bouncing around from one thing to the next. But this year, 2019, I'm planning on doing more landscapes.
Okay.
So like, if you've been following me on Instagram, the past couple years has been a lot of portraits, faces. Okay. And that is combination of, there have been some that I painted, out of like creative, inspiration. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people have also been requesting portraits. So I've kind of like painted myself into a corner as
the guy that paints portraits.
Even though that is my weakest thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's like
Flash Bowie, because Bowie was freaking dope.
That's like my life in a nutshell. Is like, out of all genres of painting, you got abstracts, you got landscapes, you got cityscapes, you got still lifes, you got portraits. My weakest has always been portraits. Okay. And it's ironic that everyone that asks, especially in the past couple of years, but especially in 2018, almost every single painting I was asked to do. Yeah. Was a portrait. Okay. Which was great. Like, each one was like a huge honor to do. But it was like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's your weakest. That's so funny.
It's by far my weakest.
Because you're good at them.
Because I don't think of myself as good at them. Okay. Like, portraits are the toughest. Like, not only are they hard to do, it's just, they're challenging. And with like a landscape, I find it much easier because it's like, who says a tree doesn't look like that? Yeah. Like, a tree can look like that. But with a portrait, if their eye is off a little bit, or if their mouth is off, like, it's all millimeters. Like, an eye, could be off by a millimeter, and it'll look cross-eyed. Yeah. And it's literally like that type of intricate stuff.
Yeah. Scrutinizing.
Yeah. It's at least for me, and that's how it's like. It's so tough to get them right, and but when you do get it right, it's very rewarding. It's like, oh my god, like like the David Bowie, like, right. I'll probably never do another Bowie again because I'll never be able to get it as good as that one. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm done with Bowie because it's like, you know, they're so tough to get right.
Okay.
But I'm super happy with it.
Now,
obviously, but it's tough. They're tough.
I'm glad that you're very eclectic and you're all over the place. It's definitely worked out in your favor. But when people are thinking about your Chicago stuff, do you ever feel like, there's other Chicago stuff out there? Like, what separates your stuff from other people's stuff? And obviously, it hasn't stopped you from making it, but like, there are a lot of Chicago artists out there, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, why would someone get something over like one of yours? Like, does anything make it different? Does anything that you put into it? Now, earlier when you said that you are thinking about re-putting in lights into that, that's different.
Right.
But before that,
I wish you could see it. I wish I had one here. You would really get a kick out of it. It's cool.
Light up the freaking sky. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, they are cool. So that's what I'm planning on doing this year. Is like a brand new.
That is your signature, right? That could be.
At the time, but without the lights. That's what I thought.
Without the lights, like, do you think you have like what is your signature mark?
What great question.
What sets you apart?
I have no. That's a great question.
Or do you not even care about that?
I don't really. I mean, not that I don't care. I don't really think about that. Like when I'm making the painting, I really don't think like, how is this going to affect somebody? Because how is this going? Like, I'm just making it.
That probably stops a lot of people from even trying. Maybe. It's like, I like making landscapes or skylines, but there's so many people that paint skylines. So why even bother?
Yeah, definitely don't think that.
But you do. Everyone. I mean, even if you can't put a word on it right now, or like, put it into words, there is something that like sets you apart. Right.
I don't know what that would be. So that would be probably for someone else to like.
Yeah.
Everyone can project their own idea onto that. So with me, I try to focus on like, just I'm just making the pancakes and sending them out. I'm not tasting them. That's how I think of it. It's like I'm just here trying to make them the best I can, and I'm sending them out to the window.
People are buying.
Well, right. Well, hopefully, or whether
eating.
they're buying or just enjoying them.
Yeah.
Like even if they're just looking at them Instagram, like I understand, like not everyone wants to buy one, or not everyone can, not everyone. Whatever, they could just enjoy them on Instagram or online. That's cool too. Yeah. So like, when I'm making them, I'm not thinking like about that. I'm just kind of like trying to make the best I can at the time.
Yeah.
And so like basically if you've been following me, like the past year was like portrait after portrait, which was great. I don't know if you noticed like the Last Supper one. It was over the summer. We could flash it. We could probably flash it right now. You're gonna have a lot of work editing wise with this video.
I don't know if I'm going to. I mean, just put your.
If not, we could put links to like the pictures. So like if you scroll down to the bottom and see the Last Supper, which is it's a panoramic shot of like 12 guys sitting having dinner. It's like a Last Supper reenactment of a group of friends that I painted, and it's like that was in the middle of the summer, and it was a really good friend of mine, my friend Mike. His friend from Milwaukee that he was really tight with contacted me and was like, our friend Emmett, who was in the NFL, is retiring this year. Okay. And we want to pitch in and get him a retirement gift. Oh, wow. I was like, oh, it's awesome. And he's like, could you do it? I was like, yeah, let's, like, what are you thinking? Sent me that picture, which is the picture that I painted. Sent me that picture. He's like, this is us, our group of 12 friends. Haven't reenacted the Last Supper, like, and the friend Emmett was in the middle. Yeah. And they reenacted it in the picture. Like, can't you paint this? I love that. And I was like, oh my god, maybe like if you saw the picture, it was kind of like tough. Already this year I had been doing tons of portraits. Oh, so you were uninspired kind of thing. Not that I was uninspired. I just felt like, I don't even know how to put it.
Like you'd rather be doing something else.
I would just kind of like, I just felt, and at the time I had a lot of other commitments too, but I couldn't really say no to it because it's like, oh, they're having their, it's important. It was just like ideal. It was not something that I had to do. I wasn't like pressured into it, but it was like, hey, this is a great opportunity. Yeah. It's like an opportunity to make a couple bucks. They're interested in having you do it. Wouldn't this be cool? Type of thing. And I think it turned out like I think they really liked it. There's a video on my Instagram where he was unwrapping it in the restaurant. Oh, nice. So if you follow me, like it's in July. I posted July of 2018. if you scroll down, and he opened it at Chicago Cut. They took him out for dinner. So that was another one of those moments.
Right.
That was another one of those like moments with like Marty and Mrs.
Well, I'm
Walsh,
glad they
like,
sent you the footage because that's what it's all about.
I know, and that's what I told him. I was like, this thing took forever.
That's all I want.
But the main thing I want is like some footage of him opening it, and you could hear everyone at the table. They were like laughing. Like when I showed it to him, like I was literally like the 2 days before he picked it up.
Yeah.
I literally did not sleep for like a couple days because I was trying to finish it in time.
Yeah.
And I just finished it barely in the nick of time.
Awesome.
But it was turning out great. And so when he came over, I was like, I don't know, like if I completely mess this up, or does it look good? Like I'm like, I don't know, I haven't slept in 3 days. I don't know, is this like ruined or is this good? And when I showed it to him, like he literally laughed, and I was like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It was a good thing. He laughed because it was like he enjoyed the way it turned out.
That's amazing.
Cool. Overall, it's a cool story. But the thing is, it had 12 from my standpoint. Is like overall, it was a great thing that we did that. But when he asked me to do it, like I had already been doing so many portraits, and this picture had 12 faces. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't even know how to
portrait out.
I don't know how to like analyze that, but I just felt like I was already kind of on my heels as far as like, all right, I don't know if I could do another portrait.
Yeah.
And then it was like, can you do one more that's got 12 faces in it? And I tried to explain to him, I'm like, it's one painting, but it's 12 faces, which means I need to draw out each one. It's hard to describe, like how, like, so that means after 3 faces, I have to draw 9 more.
Yeah.
It's like, it was insane.
Yeah.
It was insane, but hope he likes it. Hope he fucking likes it.
I'm sure they do.
Hope he hasn't burned it in his apartment yet. No, I think he did. It was great.
Do you think one day it's going to be primarily works of art that you do because you want to do it and people will buy it, instead of people giving you requests and you doing requests?
Yeah.
And that's the goal, right?
In a word, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
To do what you want to do, paint whatever you want to paint, and people will like, whoever resonates with it, whoever loves it, hey, I want that.
You read my mind again. Like you can, like that's exactly kind of like what that would be ideal for me.
How far like in the future do you think that'll be?
Hopefully this time next year.
No way.
That'd be great.
Good for you.
But maybe that won't happen. But that's the plan. I mean, not that I don't want to make a custom painting for somebody. Like obviously someone has like a specific idea. Like this was the picture of their friends. So it's kind of like that's what it had to be.
What do you think is gonna get you there though?
I don't know.
Get you that freedom.
I have no idea.
More money, I guess. Like so
Maybe.
you can turn down some
there you go, Victor. That's what we were talking about.
It's
yeah,
tough.
More money so you can turn down.
It's tough to turn down, right? Especially when these occasions are important to them.
Right. That's
right.
Right.
It's not for themselves. These are for their friends and family.
It was like a moment, right? Like I didn't have to do it. Like he didn't hold the gun to my head. Like he was like he asked me, "You could do this, cool, not so whatever." It was like I want to be.
Maybe not saying no, but maybe like give me more time or something like that. I don't know. I mean,
right. That one was relatively like I think I had enough time, but when he asked me, I was already had so many other projects on my plate, so it's not like I could start that day.
Yeah.
It's like I could say yes that day, but I'm still finishing up 5 other projects.
Sure.
So it was kind of like one of those things. Right, but overall, like, that was just a perfect example of like I was like couldn't take anymore, and then it was like, here's another bucket of more.
Yeah.
As far as, but they weren't doing that on purpose. Like that was just how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
You know, like they didn't try to be like, oh, you don't want to do portraits. Here's another portrait. That's just what they wanted.
At the end of the day, you're still getting paid to paint, bro.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
When you come down
that's how I think
to
of
that,
it too. Exactly.
You're still living the dream, essentially.
Right. Exactly. So sometimes I'll get down on myself and I'll be like, what am I doing?
And so to supplement this art income, you drive Lyft.
Started driving Lyft.
Before Lyft, were there any odd jobs that you did to help?
I used to bartend. Sure,
okay.
I've bartended. I've waited.
Right.
I've served. I've done like actual like regular painting.
Oh, okay.
You know, not artistic painting, but
sure.
and I've done that my whole life.
Right.
I still do it. So I've always had odd jobs, and I've kind of like bounced around. Sometimes I'll hardly do any, and it'll be mostly paint. Other times it's like half and half, and it kind of varies in between there.
Yeah.
But I just started driving Lyft in November, and that was like the best move I've made in a long time.
Okay.
Just because it's
you know what, like through
it's
that,
amazing how easy it is.
Through that, and I'm sure other people resonate with this. I've noticed that Lyft drivers are a little more chatty or a little more personable than Uber drivers.
Interesting.
And that being said, I've gotten into Lyfts that should typically last 5 minutes, but we've gotten into like conversations that they've offered to like, hey, come to dinner, or like,
wow,
we should continue this conversation.
Yeah, I've had that too.
Right, so I'm sure you've bumped into some pretty cool people.
Yeah.
Just driving around the city.
Yeah. Unexpectedly. That was like a huge perk. Like I was just doing it for like a job. Like I need to bring in some cheddar.
Yeah.
And this is what I'll do because it's like convenient. And then, but yeah, you actually have met some cool people. I actually do have like new friends from it, which is unexpected and cool. So yeah, I like it. It was a perfect thing for me at the time.
Okay.
I would recommend it to anybody if they're kind of like not sure what to do.
And you got a car through Lyft, right?
Through Lyft, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Everything's kind of set up for you.
It's a brand new car that I pay for by driving.
Sure.
And then I could use it for my own personal stuff too.
Sure.
So it was like, honestly, it was like the best case because I had car trouble with my other car, which is, you know, in heaven now.
Yeah.
But this past year had like just a lot of bizarre car problems.
It's okay. It happens.
I was trying to keep a car. It was a car I really liked, but had so many miles on it. I didn't have the heart to give up on her. So I was just kind of like trying to get it fixed, but then it was like, I'm spending more money on it than it's worth. You know, this is one of those things. So at least now I have like, you know, in theory, a brand new car, which I can use. Sure. So I would can't recommend it enough to anyone if they're not sure what to do, or if they're kind of like trying to make ends meet. Yeah. Or if they're kind of in between jobs, or if you get let go from a job unexpectedly.
Well, a lot of federal governments that were just let go.
A lot of federal government,
or just
for
doing
the feds.
that.
Yeah. For if you work for the government and you're furloughed from the shutdown. Yeah. Lyft probably would be a great thing for you.
Yeah.
If by the time you post this, if the shutdown is still going on, which I think it just ended.
It just ended.
Well,
they're going to renegotiate
for a few weeks. It's going to be back on. So by the time you post it, it'll be back on. So if that happens, drive Lyft. Actually, don't, because I need more rides. So
but Lyft over Uber?
I just do Lyft because that's who the car's through.
Some people double dip. Okay.
So since I'm with Lyft, I can't do Uber, but hopefully in like a couple weeks I'll get my own car, like a newer car, and then I can
newer car,
like a new car that's not through Lyft, like my own car.
Oh, I didn't. Okay.
You know, because like the car I'm using is through it's a Lyft like rental program. Gotcha. So that's what I'm currently using as we film. Oh, okay. But hopefully the next pod I'll have like my own car. Yeah. Which in that case then I can do both Uber and Lyft. Oh, that's awesome. You can make a little bit more money doing that.
That's funny because they usually offer incentives for driving longer, or like doing more rides with a certain company, right? So if you do like a number of rides with Lyft, you'll get a bonus.
Yeah.
So it's hard. Like they're trying to incentivize
300
not double dipping.
Was like $1,500 or something.
Nice.
So it's very fair. It's very fair. It's very like totally worth it. I find it very you know, like not easy, but it's like pretty doable. Yeah. Like I've had a lot of random jobs, and this one is definitely my favorite one. For, you know, besides the golf course. Sure.
The golf course. I missed the golf course.
That was great because not only were we driving around on golf carts, but you could golf for free.
Yep, same on Mondays. Yeah, so when it was closed.
Really doesn't get better than that. The pay wasn't great.
Yeah,
but it's like, you know, whatever.
So I have a feeling I know what your answer is going to be, but what if you could do anything differently what advice would you give to someone who's trying to pursue art as a living? So maybe if you could do it all over again, or give advice to someone who's trying to do it right now. I have a feeling that what your answer is going to be, but
that's a great question. Yeah, I would say, let me try to think. Are you leaving already?
Yes.
Why are you going?
Half Acre.
I thought you were going to be in our podcast.
Oh, enjoy.
Half Acre.
Enjoy. Bye. You too.
We will. That was Betty. She's going to Half Acre. Betty will fill you in on her adventure to Half. That would be great if we can like cut to Betty and then it goes to. And
what does Betty do on a?
Betty works at La Colombe Coffee on Randolph.
Randolph
and Fulton.
I used to go to the one by Andersonville on Foster and Clark.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been past that one. Yeah. She doesn't work there. She works at the one on Randolph.
Barista?
And there's one, and then there's one over here, but she doesn't work at this one, even though it's
Everyone
one
in
block
this
away
room
from us.
And Marty, big fans of La Colombe. So Betty, we're
La
gonna get you
Colombe.
on. We're gonna get you on.
Shout out to La Colombe.
Shout out to Betty.
Because she brings home samples
Oh.
all the time.
Oh, they use Metropolis. I love Metropolis.
They have fantastic. Oof. Everything over there is like top notch.
It is.
It really is.
Good for them.
Yeah, so that's where Betty's going.
Half
remember
acre.
your question.
Half acre. What advice would you give to someone that were trying to walk in your shoes or pursue art as a living? If you could go back and rewind, were there any missteps that you were like, if you can go back and correct yourself, like any hiccups?
Oh my god.
Any big failures? Like any like setbacks?
We would be here all night.
Fuck!
Like, people that's like, oh, I have no regrets. I just find I'm the opposite of that. I regret.
It's honest.
I regret
It's honest.
everything.
But
everything.
Does everything happen for a reason? I mean, you're still here.
I don't think so.
No.
I think people like to say that because it sounds cute, but I really don't think that's true.
Okay.
So that's not...
Okay, so that being said, you might have some things that you would want to redo. What was
I don't
a major?
know. That's
what was
a good one.
setback?
I don't really try to. I don't know. I don't even know. Like whatever. Getting my car fixed at this place, which back to car thing, that was a regret because they didn't fix it right and I broke down on the highway. So it's like I regret that.
So just a financial burden.
Yeah, it was just like I don't even know.
But
like,
anything,
I don't wanna,
anything directly related to painting?
Doing it in the first.
No, don't say that.
Doing it in the first place for sure.
I mean,
yeah, if I could have gone into like computer programming, I'd be way better off. Right?
Better
now.
off how? Like
Just
you
in
like
every way.
you like computer programming?
No, I just don't. I'm just trying to be funny. Like,
Okay.
I don't know.
I was about to say.
I don't know how to do computer programming.
I was about to say.
Like if I did, like.
It's lucrative.
It's for sure.
But
it's
you
totally
you and I know money isn't. It can achieve certain things, but happiness comes from inside. Right?
Yeah.
Money can buy you certain things. It can give you a certain amount of happiness for sure.
I didn't think of it, but this is like a famous line as money can't buy you happiness, but it could sure make you awfully comfortable while you're being miserable. So it's like that's kind of true.
I mean,
I don't know, but it's not the answer to everything.
But in the grand scheme of things,
it's not the answer.
Or when you zoom in, like day in and day out, you don't have to go to the office. Your office is kind of your car, but like it's also wherever you want to paint, kind of thing.
Right. That's true. Yeah, exactly.
Right? So everyone has their own definition of living the
I
dream.
wish, and it's not like I don't work at an office because I don't want to. Like if I had an office job, I would work there. Like it's just like I haven't.
But would you
really
like it?
tried to? I don't know. I haven't really pursued it.
I don't know.
But I think I would be great in an office.
I like how open-minded you are.
Yeah, I'm very open-minded because like, who am I to say I wouldn't enjoy it? It's not like I'm like anti-office. Like I just paint because that's what I'm like a little good at. I don't think I'm like that good at it, but I'm like, okay, I'm slightly better than average. So
what do you think are the keys to fulfillment?
Fulfillment.
To find fulfillment for yourself.
I don't know.
How do you feel fulfilled?
Fulfilled.
Sharing your gift with the world.
That's maybe.
Right,
maybe.
And we going back to that moment where the big reveal, the unravel, and
that's
and
probably
that face that they make, that like, oh my god.
If I had to boil it down, that's probably like I put in all the effort to hopefully make them happy. Yeah. So that's that moment of them being like happy,
right,
and surprised.
Right.
So it's like that's kind of like a, probably if you had to pinpoint it, that would be it. I would say.
Okay.
So like money can't buy that, obviously, because you really can't. Can't just buy someone $1,000 whatever. It might not have that same thing, or maybe it will,
but temporarily.
But temporarily, so it's kind of like, yeah, that's a great question. I really don't know how to answer that. How to be fulfilled. That's like $1 million. It's probably different for everybody.
It is different.
So for me, I don't know what that would be. I'd feel awfully fulfilled if I would be like retired on a beach. So that's how I'd be fulfilled, I think. So yeah, like if I could retire on a beach. That's what it would be. But maybe it's just because I had a long day. So maybe that's how I'm feeling
today, guys.
Maybe that's how I'm feeling right now.
I swear
maybe
Mike is fulfilled on a usual basis, on a typical basis.
I don't know. I just, that's a good question.
Yeah, it's different for everyone.
So what would I recommend other people pursuing art? Mm-hmm. I would recommend don't do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of I did not expect you to say that.
I wouldn't recommend I would say if you feel like doing it, do it. But I wouldn't say go out of your way to do it, because it's like if you're not drawn to it naturally, then maybe.
Well, that's the thing. I'm saying these people are drawn to it naturally, and they haven't figured out, or they're making excuses for themselves, right? So they haven't taken the plunge to do it.
Right.
Or they're saying like it can't. I need bills. I got bills to pay.
Right.
Or they're like, I'm not good enough. Or they're saying things like, other people make, portrait shots of musicians or skyline art of Chicago. Who am I to try to do that and replicate that?
Yeah, and I think that too. So I would say I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm like, if it's fun, then try it. You know, or if you want to bake a cake, if that's fun, then do that.
Right.
Like find your own thing,
Yeah.
and it could be art.
Yeah.
That might be it, but it's like, I started doing art because I would watch Bob Ross on Channel 11.
Oh, okay.
Like that was how. If I want to say, how did it really start? Probably that.
Bob Ross.
Being just left there and put on Channel 11.
Yeah.
And Bob Ross and I would just to me that was, I was like fascinated, just completely. I've watched every episode, back then, today, like it's still my favorite show.
Okay.
So it's just still to this day fascinates me, interests me, everything about it. So like whatever that is for you, that's what you should pursue.
They won't know until they try.
Right. Whether it's art, whether it's cooking, whether it's music, whether it's hiking, like, find whatever lights you up and then pursue that.
Monetizing it, and then what number do you put on your work?
Yeah, I don't know, right?
And
exactly.
we're more of like, let me just do my work. I don't want to think about the business side.
Right. Exactly.
Right?
That's
so
exactly
it's tough.
how I
It's
think.
tough doing that.
Yeah, that's the tough part. I don't feel like I'm good at that. Just like some people can't draw a picture.
Yeah.
I can't balance a
Do you
checkbook.
live by the saying, like, money comes and goes, and
it
like
does.
day by day kind of thing.
That's probably why I don't have any, because it all goes. It all goes. But no, that's true. That is true. Yeah, I don't really think about it that much.
Right.
'Cause I'm usually thinking about doing other things.
Yeah.
Trying to be like inspired, trying to think of ideas of shows. Like obviously painting, but it's like mine's going all over the place. We could do another podcast where I pitch show ideas to you, because I have several that I've pitched to Ed, and he's not feeling any of them, but I was like, maybe I'll try pitching to somebody with a clear mind.
Ed sounds like an interesting character too.
Ed is great. You should do him for the next one.
Man.
He'd be a great pod.
Man, okay.
Really interesting. Like, you think I'm interesting? I'm manila folder on a blank wall.
Get out of here.
Compared to Ed. Swear to God. Yeah, swear. So yeah, I don't know, like going back to like the art thing, I don't know. It's what I do. I enjoy it. I have fun doing it. I have fun sharing it with people. Like that's kind of probably the most important thing. As well as the money, but money I don't even think is the most important. I put that like third or fourth.
So what goals do you have for 2019?
That's a great question too. Goals. I would say.
What's gonna get you closer to that beach? Or
a plane ticket.
Okay.
Frontier Airlines. That's just getting closer to the beach. Yeah, I'd say Spirit Airlines. So hopefully maybe the next pod will be on a beach. That'd be great.
That'd be lovely.
I'll be in a much better mood then. My toes won't be numb.
Yeah.
So that's my goal, is to go on vacation.
Go on vacation?
Yeah, that's a simple goal.
Mellow out?
I try not to like make, too many goals for myself.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But I mean, what are you
doing?
doing?
I'm never gonna hit them. So what's the point?
What? But why? Well, you're just like already failing from the get go.
Well. Yeah, why? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, why? I make like one easy goal, and I hit that, rather than making 10 goals I'm never gonna hit.
When you mean easy, is it like a lofty goal?
Like going on a vacation, like that's my goal. I want to go on a really good vacation this year.
And so to do that,
at least one, maybe two.
To get you closer to that, what do you gotta do? You gotta sell more paintings, or what are you gonna do?
Sell.
Sell. Drive.
Drive. I'll do a little driving. I'll do a little painting.
Hey, what if
try to finish my projects?
Yeah.
My projects. I apologize to all my friends that have been waiting. Some people are waiting right now.
What if you just
I feel bad. I don't want to name them by name because I don't want to embarrass them.
No, you're fine.
You know who you are, and I'm really sorry.
What if,
I'm not trying to be funny about it.
What if you went to?
Sorry that it's not done yet. It will be done soon.
You are.
Thank you for your patience.
Incredibly kind.
Thank you for your patience.
What if you went to?
My friends are kind. They're kind.
Okay.
They're patient with me.
And that's a winning mindset.
Because hopefully it's a winning mindset for somebody. Like,
no, it is.
I hope. All I can be is like appreciative of them
value
supporting
the
me.
I
value them so much that I keep them waiting too long because I'm trying to make their painting like perfect.
Okay.
That's what's frustrating.
So would that be some sort of advice or goal you would have for 2019 is to stop making people wait?
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Do that.
That's a great goal. That's what I'll do.
Let's do that.
I'll try not to.
How do we do it?
I'll try not to let people down.
Do you not use a planner? Do you not use your phone, the calendar?
I don't know how to use that shit. I don't know how to use any of that shit.
Yeah, you need a personal assistant.
I need help. I need professional help on many levels.
Yeah. Huh.
And organization is one of them. It's never been my forte.
Okay.
But I'm going to try to be better at that.
Well, next time
I'm going to try to be better at that.
I'll touch base.
All I can do is try to improve. That's all I can try to do. All I can do is try to be a little bit better. And try to be a little bit better. That's all I do.
Now, I mean, maybe you have. We all go through this, but like, have you compared yourself to other people before, as far as your work and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's tough.
That.
And you're probably your toughest critic.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, as long as you're becoming the best version of yourself, that's all that matters, right? And I've noticed it. I mean, as you've been doing this, like, your work has like progressively gotten better and better.
Thank you. And I'll show you a couple of the newer ones I've been working on.
You just got to go to the top of the feed, right?
Some of
just scroll better up and up.
Some of them I have to post. Like, a lot of these I actually haven't because they're not done.
That's fine.
Yet, and it's not done yet. Yeah. But I should just post it. Like, who cares? Like, it's probably good enough. So that's what I'm always kind of juggling.
A lot of people would appreciate a behind-the-scenes look. Mm-hmm. How does Mike Skrobin operate? What are the logistics? How does he set up his work? You don't
want to know.
What's going on in your mind?
I'll show you that. I have a painting which
I
actually
are you serious?
Which is that? Yeah.
Like an abstract. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I show this.
So this is a visual representation of what goes on in Mike's mind.
At least this week. And it changes very rapidly. That was like a study, like a practice.
Okay.
Before I eventually would like to do on a large scale.
Okay.
So that one I'd like to have like as like a 4x5.
Okay.
Like large scale. So that was like a
4 by 5 feet.
4 by 5 feet, yeah, which is like a full size like abstract size. So that was a study, and a study is like a practice painting to see how would this look as a painting. And to me, I really love the way it turned out. Like, that was one of my favorite ones I've made in a while.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was smooth.
Yeah.
I love the way it turned out. Like, before I started painting, sometimes I'll try to visualize, like, how do I want this to look? And then I have to try to get to that point. So I'll have the vision in my mind of, like, I can picture how I want this to look. Now, how am I going to make that physically exist?
It's interesting.
Like, that's kind of the way I go.
Isn't it dynamic and always changing?
Sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes.
I kind of like clouds in the sky. It's always moving.
Yeah. And exactly.
Kind of like
that's why it's challenging. And that's why it's challenging. Is like, how do you paint a sunset because it keeps changing?
A mental snapshot. Because you can't hold on to it. It's like things come and go.
Sometimes you can. And sometimes you can kind of like freeze them.
You are a god then, Mike.
No, I'm not. No way. There's only one God, and he's right up there.
Hey!
But sometimes you can. Like, if I have like a really specific vision of like this one, I know what I want to be. Sometimes I can kind of freeze that thought and like put that off to the side in a category.
Okay.
And then other times it'll continue to evolve. Like, there's some paintings like I'll work on a little bit here, there, and it's kind of like, I'll show you the other one, which is the Jerry Garcia, which is off to the side.
Yeah.
And that one I've kind of like worked on, added things throughout like over a year, but I didn't work on it every day. It was like a little bit here, a little bit there, put off to the side. Yeah, put off to the side. Not because I wanted to, but just because like something else showed up. So then, and that's over here.
Wow.
So this one I started like a long time ago. And originally I just did his face, which was originally like blue and white.
Yeah.
And I added the green and the pink, and then I decided like his face was good, so I put it inside the skull, and then I decided to add the roses. As you can see it's kind of dusty.
Is this a Marty thing too? What is this? Who's this going to?
I don't know.
Oh,
maybe,
okay.
Maybe Marty will buy it. Marty is for sale.
Hey!
So then I added the roses up top, which I still want to add the leaves.
Sure.
To it. So as you can see, it's not done. But I got the roses here, and I added the turtles down at the bottom,
Yeah.
which are from their albums. They have these turtles
Oh.
play instruments. It's just like, if you notice, look at their albums, you'll notice them. So I'm kind of like, as you can see, but these have been added over time.
I love
so
that.
This is like an idea of one that's kind of like, it's never done. Hopefully I'll finish it this year.
Okay. It looks great, Mike.
Thanks. So like you said, this one, it's kind of like a work in progress.
Yeah.
It's easy to start them, the paintings. It's tough to finish them. That's something that I've really learned. It's like it's easy to start them. Like for me, I could start them and then get it halfway done, get it 3/4 of the way done. Like that one is probably.
What is it? You just lose inspiration?
No, just kind of like I have like ADD, so it's like I have to like start on something else.
Okay.
But I'll always intend to go back. It's not like I give up on it.
Is that
like,
common?
I don't know.
Or is it more common to not even start?
Maybe. I just feel like I have to start because when I have that idea in my mind, it's kind of like if you have a dream and if like you don't tell it to somebody or if you don't write it down, it's going to disappear.
Yep.
So I feel like as long as I start it,
Yep.
get it going, and this is almost done. Like I could just spend another day on it and finish it, and I'll do that eventually. So it's kind of like it's close there. It's, and it's not that I put it off to the side because I wanted to. It was probably because the phone rang, I had to do something else,
Yeah.
and Marty's birthday, and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, the guy with the bachelor party, or not the bachelor party, but thinking of Stevie's bachelor party.
That's
For some
last
reason,
supper.
not the bachelor party, the wedding gift, and then the Last Supper.
Yeah.
So it's like those things come up, and it's like the calendar moves really fast.
Okay.
That's how it feels to me. It feels like the calendar moves so fast, and
That means you're doing what you love. You're staying
Maybe.
busy because time flies.
time flies. Yeah, it really does.
Days feel like minutes.
Yeah. Days feel like they're all blending together.
Blurred, yeah.
They really do. Like growing up, I used to feel like you had day, you had night. Now it's like it kind of just blends.
Yeah.
And it's flying by, which scares me.
Mm.
So that's, yes, that's something that is kind of always on my mind too.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get these things done.
For
trying
sure.
to get my website updated.
You got a website.
I do. I haven't updated it because
okay.
I've been behind on stuff.
Sure.
It's kind of like a running theme with
Sure.
me. So that's my plan for 2019 for sure.
Okay.
It's like get the website updated, ready to go, and everything that I've done is on display, maybe up for sale.
Okay.
So that's what I've been meaning to do for so long. But it's kind of like there's only one of me, and I've just been like here, there. I'm like.
It's tough.
That's how I've been feeling. Did the mural at the wine shop, Galleria Market, State in Illinois.
Yeah.
For downtown,
Right.
go over there for Pete's Coffee.
And by yourself, you never
they have
like.
Pete's Coffee, so it's like I was there
Wait,
by
you were at
myself.
Pete's Coffee.
They sell Pete's Coffee
Oh.
there. So if you want a cup of coffee, they have a deli, and
You don't. Do you ever if the project's big, would you ever contract a buddy to do it with you?
I did that.
Oh, you did do that.
I did that
Oh,
with
okay.
the Google store. I did the mural at the
You
Google
did a
store.
Google store.
Yeah.
Jeez, Mike. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But that was I didn't post the picture of it. I put on my Instagram story. That night I put on my Instagram story because that's another long story.
Okay.
That one,
Okay.
I'll tell you that story, but that's another. That's another one that I really fucked up big time.
Fucked up.
But I did the mural at the Google store. It was just painting random shades of blue, like 3 different shades of blue, and then my friend Mike,
in a plaid pattern or
Mike
what?
Dano, helped me.
Oh. Okay.
So that was a time where I knew the job was a little too big and I needed to paint it in one night. It was a Sunday night that I had to paint it, and like I wouldn't have been able to do it by myself.
Yeah.
So I asked Mike to help me, and he helped me. He did a great job.
Awesome.
So that was like exactly that situation.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I do that occasionally.
Huh.
The wine shop was a different story because that was all like grapevines and like grapes and like a mural
Intricate.
of Tuscany. It was all very intricate. I was like lost. So it's like, like when I was doing it, I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So it's like I can't necessarily expect someone to.
Sure, if you're lost.
If I was lost,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was like, overall, I think it turned out good. But the entire time I was doing it, I was completely like clueless. And so it took me the whole project. So now I'm really good at doing grapes and vines.
Okay.
But when I started, the first couple were very cartoony, and they just did not look that good.
Yeah.
And then so I, had to redo a bunch of them. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare.
Okay.
But it turned out in the end.
Glad it turned out well.
Go over there and see it for yourself. See what you think of it. I think it turned out good, but the entire process was crazy.
Okay.
It was a crazy, brutal experience.
But that you came out on top. You probably learned what not to do or what to do better.
Yeah.
If you ever came across that situation ever again.
Right.
You didn't back down from it.
Right. I wanted to.
Was there ever a project where like midway through you're like, you know what, guys, I'm gonna have to cancel this?
There's been a couple. Yeah. There's been a couple. Nothing really too major. Like nothing that's that crazy. There's been some that I've given up on, but it's not really that common. A few, but I'm trying to remember like what would be the most recent one that happened. Most of them that I've done this year had that moment.
Okay, but you powered through.
And then I put it off to the side for the rest of the day, and then the next day I kind of got back to it. So I've definitely had that moment in pretty much almost every single one I've done this year. It's like I had the moment where I was like, I'm fucking done. I don't want to do this anymore.
You just walk away for a bit.
I'm like,
and then you come back.
I have like I've definitely had the moment, but it's all about like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Okay.
Try again another day.
Okay. Good.
But it's not like I've never had that. I've never had that moment. I'm not like Mr. Oh, it's all
You're
smooth.
not immune to it. No.
Yeah, it's not all smooth
and that's
sailing.
Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really important too. It's like don't
too hard on yourself.
Don't throw it all out.
Okay.
Like I could have easily done that, but I just kind of basically just said that's enough for today. I'm going to do something else.
Okay.
So that's why I kind of bounce between different projects, because if I feel like if I'm just kind of like lost with one, I'm like I gotta just
put it on pause.
Do something else, or whatever,
right.
or just So sometimes that can happen.
Okay.
The inspiration is kind of like, I guess if a musician has an idea for a song.
Okay.
So while he's thinking of one idea for a song, that's what's in his mind.
Sure.
And it's hard to get it out of his mind.
Sure.
But then he might have other songs that are in his mind too, but they're just not in the front, kind of. But then maybe a week later, that other song that was in the back of his mind is now, he might have an idea for it now. And there really is no reason of like why, he just thought of like a chord, which is kind of the missing piece of that song. It's kind of like very much like that, where it's just kind of like it comes and goes.
Okay.
There's really no rhyme or reason. And that's the hard part about the commissions, is like, it's not something you can just like turn on like a stove. Like it's like, sometimes it can happen, but not all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't force yourself to write a good song. Like we could sit here right now and say, we're going to write a good song. It's not going to be good. But Paul McCartney can wake up from a dream and have a song. But he didn't think that it was going to happen that day. He just woke up and he had it in his mind.
Yeah.
And it's like he didn't control that. Like he's not in control.
There's a lot of spontaneity with it.
There's a lot of spontaneity with it.
But like we said earlier, there are some situations that can put you in the mood.
Yeah, that could help. You could do all you can. Like you could do all you can to put yourself in a good position, just like with any job. Like you can make sure you get enough sleep, make sure you drink the coffee, make sure you get there on time, make sure you do your homework or do your report. Like you could do all those things, and that's important. But like the like inspiration, that can be kind of fleeting. It can kind of either be there or not.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's there, and usually it is when you need it. But it's not something you can control. That's what I found out. Like it's not something that could be dialed up like a phone.
Right.
So that's kind of the hard
part. You gotta be
part.
okay. You gotta learn to be okay with that.
Yeah, that's kind of the frustrating part sometimes.
Right.
It's like you're like, oh my god, it's Thursday night. I got to get this done by tomorrow, and there really is like, it's crickets. Right? Or
nothing up there.
Yeah, right. There's nothing there. Like, what do you mean there's nothing there? There's a whole birthday party waiting for this thing to show up, and they're expecting it's going to be brilliant, and it's like, yeah, right, yeah, that happens all the time, which is kind of like why this year I'm gonna hopefully try to push the brakes a little bit, not take on so many projects.
Okay.
I'll obviously maybe do some, but I'm gonna try not to go out of my way to take on so many.
Sure.
Because those weigh me down.
Sure.
And not that I don't like doing them, but when you have like one on your plate, it's like, okay, it's always in the back of your mind, and it's like you're always
it's a good balance. Like do one for you, one for them, kind of thing.
that's ideal.
Yeah.
That would be ideal for sure. So it's like, yeah, having one on your mind is not bad. It's in the back of your mind all the time. Like you're always thinking about it a little bit. But when you have like 5 or 6, it's really a lot to juggle. And then like earlier this summer, there was a point where I had 10 different projects for 10 different people, all very important.
Right.
And none of them were done. And all of them were like very difficult. And like at a time, they were almost all behind schedule.
Okay.
So that was like that was a crazy couple weeks.
Yeah.
And that was like I would say that was in
Man,
about early June. That was in June, I'd say.
Coming back, it's tough because coming back to that like gratitude, you know that there's gonna be slow periods, right? So you're grateful for the periods where like, wow, like I know it's a rush, but there will be periods where like I won't have a lot of business.
Yeah.
Right.
It's feast
so
it's
it's
exactly.
tough.
You can't control it. That's what's hard. It's like, yeah, there's so many slow periods. So that's why it's like when you actually do have interest and you do have people calling you, it's like you don't want to then tell them no at that time.
Yeah.
You know, because then you're like, well, it might be another couple months before they call again or before anyone else calls again.
Right.
So it's kind of like that's where it's like feast or famine. That's very true. It's kind of like that's how it tends to happen. Okay. Either the phone won't ring at all or it'll ring multiple times in a week. And that's kind of how it always has been for me. Like, which is unfortunate. It's like it never... It's not like one call per week.
Or fortunate. You know, it's like, it's
right.
Just, it's a perspective thing.
Exactly,
at
for
the
sure.
End of the day.
Right. Unfortunately, that...
As tough as it could be, or as it is, like when you have a bum rush of 10 people, when you flip it and be like, I am just grateful that people are down with my work.
Yeah, and I absolutely am. It's the unfortunate part is like, since I'm not a good at multitasking, you know, I wish that I could just get one call per week and I could just get the call. It's so nice and easy this way, but that's not how life is.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be like 3 weeks, nothing. And then Monday afternoon, you get 2 emails and 3 phone calls. Yeah. And they all want something and they're all willing to pay you. And it's like, how do you say no to those? You can't. And it's like, how do I juggle it? Who wants to first? It's like, there's only one of me. So it's like, someone has to be first. Someone has to be second. It's like,
imagine if
I can't do it.
You increase your price point and then you can start saying no to, even if you like, I know everyone's important, right? But like, if you increase your price point, you can start saying no because you're not dependent on their money anymore. And maybe that's the goal eventually, right?
Yeah,
to be able to say no, and as tough as it is,
I want to, but
as tough as it is,
exactly. That's definitely a piece of it. Yeah. So that's I don't know how that.
And then, but I relate to this when you're like, who am I to increase my prices?
Right. That's how I feel too. I'm like, I can't believe they're paying what they're paying.
Right.
How am I going to raise the price?
Right. Well, I was watching.
Then they'll really not call me.
This is a completely side tangent, but I was watching Ugly Delicious by David Chang, and there was an episode comparing wontons to ravioli, both pockets with meat or whatever stuffed inside. But how much is a fancy ravioli compared to a typical wonton or dumpling? The price points are completely different.
I was going to say ravioli's cheaper.
But the quality is either the same, if not Asian, if not dumplings are better. You know, it's like...
Right. Oh, wonton versus a dumpling.
Oh, no. Dumpling wonton versus ravioli.
Right.
You know, Italian versus Chinese kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, that could... It's definitely... It's all
Chinese food isn't known to be Michelin star, like fancy, like... I
guess it could be.
People pay for the atmosphere.
Right.
And they eat that shit up.
And it's not perspective, perception. Perception is reality.
Perception, how
do you perceive it?
You know, and I'm sure you've... Like Banksy. Like, there's an air about his personality that, like, reputation precedes him. So, like, maybe down the line, you can just, like, start thinking about things that, like... What do you want people to know or think about you before they even meet you or see your work, kind of thing? Or from seeing your work, like, what do you want people to think about? It's just something to chew on.
That's a great question. Kind of yeah, exactly. I don't know what that would be.
That sets you apart. Like, Salt Bay, white t-shirt, black jeans, black sunglasses, and does this.
Now he's Salt Bay. I was wondering who you're talking about. Yeah, but the guy that does
people know.
This.
It's
crazy.
People made it a Halloween
one
costume.
Thing, just doing the salt like that.
And now how many celebrities hit up his restaurants?
Oh, probably tons.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, I know. I see that. I'm like, oh, that's so simple.
So
and
it's branding.
Genius, yeah.
It's branding, dude.
Yeah. So I don't know what. I don't know that.
No, it's not. It's not. It's definitely a deeper question that you just got to take time to chew on. And,
yeah.
But it's real. Branding is so real.
It really
Even
is.
if it's your name. MKS could be a brand, you know, but like,
yeah.
what do you want people to associate with that?
I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, that's $1 million question right there.
Right? A couple $1 million questions.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that. Like, yeah, I can't. I don't know. I don't know how to, like, what they think.
Yeah.
You know, like that's up to them to think that. So.
It is. No, you're not dependent on what they say, but you should have a direction of what you want people to think, and whatever they think at the end, it's up to them. But like, you know, hate or love Salt Bae, the majority of people do love Salt Bae. So he put his energy out there, and how people receive it is how people receive it. But the fact is, he's putting something out there.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't know what that would. Yeah.
No.
So
Yeah. It's a work in progress.
Yeah. That's true.
It's a work in progress.
So.
It's how you hold yourself upon maybe driving Lyft, or like while you're painting, or when you're out and about. How you carry yourself. That's how you carry yourself, and how are you making a lasting impact on every interaction you're having with people?
Probably not. Sure, pretty forgettable.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure most people say like it was relatively unpleasant and forgettable. So no harm done. No harm, no foul.